Hey everybody, welcome back to the Junkyard Dog Report. Definitely a tough one yesterday at MSG against the Knicks, but it is what it is. Some more bad news. Dean Wade's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks with an AC joint sprain, so that's definitely rough. But something that was cool in this game is that Mamadi Diakite was starting at the 4. Definitely want to see more of him this year, but this is just felt like another one of those games, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. That's how we are at home versus on the road. I just can't explain how terrible we are on the road versus how good we are at home. It's just two completely different teams. But let's get into it. The first quarter, we couldn't buy a bucket. We went 8 of 9 possessions in a row where we couldn't score. And at one point, the Knicks went on a 12-2 run in this quarter. And the only run we could respond with was a 5-2 run. So pretty pathetic. We only scored 16 points in the first quarter. The Knicks beat us 23-16. It probably would have been worse if we didn't have Kevin Love, the king of drawing charges in the NBA right now, or the last 2 seasons. But tough way to start, and definitely a tough way to start the second quarter afterwards. The Knicks started the second quarter on a 14-3 run. It felt like we were just going in circles in this game, where it was just like at the start of the quarter, we let the Knicks beat the hell out of us. Then at the end of the quarter, we're starting to fight back into it. Then again and again and again. And it's just the hamster wheel of doom, it felt like. But we responded in a big way in the second quarter with a 24-9 run. It was a great way to fight back into the game. Definitely showed a lot of grit on the road. I think this was the only quarter in this game that we actually won. And let me just check that real quick. Yeah, that was the only quarter in this game where we actually won. So definitely rough. Definitely wanted to be better, especially Don's homecoming because he's from New York. Definitely want to play better for him. Something I forgot to say, actually, is that we're 6 for 23 from the field in the first quarter, and that was our lowest scoring first all season. But back to the second quarter, we definitely fought back in it at the end of the second quarter, and we won that quarter 27-23, but definitely not enough just to win one quarter in a game. On to the third. The Knicks started that quarter on a 13-4 run, which is the exact sort of thing I was talking about before with the hamster wheel, how we were just going in circles every quarter. Definitely not what you want to see. We had a lot of silly turnovers in this game, which seems to be a theme, especially on the road. Also, the way the refs were officiating this game was very weird and inconsistent, specifically with travel calls. I've never seen a game as sloppy as this one. There are 14 travel calls in this game, and there were bad calls on both sides. So I'm not blaming the refs for this loss. We played like trash. But moving on. We had an 8-4 run to end the third quarter, which gave me some hope. We lost the third quarter 25-20. But, when you do what we did in the first 2 quarters, a run at the end of such a small run at the end of the third quarter is not really going to mean anything. We couldn't buy a bucket all night, and specifically our 2 playmakers in Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland could not get it going, and that was really frustrating for sure. And moving on to the fourth, we really couldn't close out defensive possessions in this game. The Knicks were getting a lot of offensive rebounds, and specifically Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson were giving us tough times, even on the offensive end. Something about when we go on the road, we make these like boneheaded plays where we make even the most solid rim protectors, the most average rim protectors, look elite. And Mitchell Robinson is a good paint protector. I'm not trying to bag on him, but there's no reason that he should have had as many blocks in that game as he did. And like I said, it was definitely one of the sloppiest games I've ever seen. The Knicks finished the game on a 6-0 run when we cut the lead to 5. And, we did all that work to fight back into the game at the end of the fourth just for the Knicks to completely take over. There were over 40 turnovers in this game. That's just, like I said, one of the sloppiest games of basketball I've ever seen played. Definitely very disgusting basketball on both sides. I mean, you got to give our defense credit. We did hold them to only 91 points, but when our offense is that disgusting, you're not going to win games. It's just how it goes in the NBA. But moving on to some quotes. What JB had to say post game about the overall game was, I just think it was a collective effort of not playing well. And he also said about the future of this team, I think we're heading in the right direction for sure. Tonight excluded. Like, tonight is not who we are. And, I mean, I don't think he's wrong about saying tonight is not who we are, but at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that this has been a theme on the road. Like, we played the exact same way against the Knicks, against the Pistons, if you ask me. We were finding shots at certain points, but we couldn't buy buckets, and the offense didn't look smooth. Things didn't look right. But moving on, what JB had to say about the shots not falling was, we didn't make shots. I mean, we were wide open, and it was the guys that we want taking shots. And, I mean, Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland took a lot of shots in this game. Didn't make a lot. And I'm going to get into my feelings on that later when we get into the statistics of this game. But moving on to the travel calls, because like I said, there were 14 travels called in this game on both teams, over 40 turnovers. Definitely a little ridiculous, specifically that Kevin Love one where they called the travel. It definitely didn't look like a travel to me. Where he was, he faked the defender on the three, took a sidestep, and he was pumping and about to put it up again. But, it is what it is. Moving on, Donovan Mitchell, what he had to say was, we didn't really play well as a whole. We were still right there, so you can't hang your head too much. And something he said that really bothered me, he was talking about himself and Darius Garland. What he said was, for a scorer, trying to figure out when to pass, when to score, when to get it going. And, tonight just wasn't one of those nights where I personally, and DG as well, could find that rhythm of balance in both. And, understatement of the year over here, Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell were taking turns being ball hog of the year last night. I've never seen a worse passing performance from DG since we got him. And that's a slight over-exaggeration, but at the same time, he only had 3 assists in this game. And moving on to the statistics, Darius Garland was 5 for 19. Donovan Mitchell was 8 for 22. Ev was 4 for 9. And if you compare that to the assists they had, Darius Garland had 3, Donovan Mitchell had 5, and Evan Mobley had 3. And that is just very frustrating. You can't take that many shots and not hook your other guys up. Specifically, Evan Mobley, the way he was playing last night. I said it multiple times during the game. I wanted him to take over, but he never got the chance because our 2 supposed playmakers were ball hogging the entire second half, or the entire game, really. I was really disappointed in that. And, I mean, let's just move forward to comparing how the big 3 out of 4 did against the rest. They had more points than the rest. They had 51. The rest had 30. The big 3 had 16 rebounds. The rest had 23. 10 of those 16 were from Ev, and you can't expect him to win the rebound battle against the rest by himself, basically. Moving on, the big 3 had 11 assists, and the rest had 6, only 17, and that's pathetic. We should be over 20 every night. The big 3 had 1 steal, and the rest had 6. The big 3 had 5 blocks, and the rest had 1. And Ev had 4 blocks. Donovan Mitchell had 1. And that's something that's actually really cool because Donovan Mitchell has now had a block in 3 straight games. And the big 3 had 8 turnovers, and the rest had 9. Now, some of these stats are acceptable. The rest having 30 points, acceptable. Having 39 total rebounds, acceptable. Assists, not acceptable. Turnovers is even acceptable. We had less turnovers than the Knicks in this game. We had 17. They had 20. And it was over 40 turnovers because the 14 travels called. I don't know how it was over 40 when it's listed as 37 on the NBA's website, but that's not my place to to choose how they put that on their website. Moving on to the plus minuses in this game, and as you can understand, they were pretty atrocious. I'll leave that up. The person with the best plus minus on the team is the guy who, if we won, I would have personally given the Junkyard Dog chain to, was Jetty Osman. He was +5 in 29 minutes and 36 seconds, and he was everywhere on the floor, doing everything he could. I think he had like 2 or 3 steals in this game. So he definitely gave us a boost. Something surprising is that Don was +2 in 39 minutes and 41 seconds. And I only say surprising because it was bothering me the way he was playing, kind of being a ball hog. He did have 5 assists, so I can't really hate on his performance as much as Darius Garland because DG is supposed to be the floor general. That's supposed to be his role. He's supposed to be the leader of this offense, in my opinion, more than Donovan Mitchell. But moving on, Ev was +1 in 39 minutes flat. Lamar Stevens was +0 and -0 in 26 minutes and 59 seconds. Kevin Love was -6 in 22 minutes and 25 seconds. Robin Lopez was -7 in only 2 minutes and 38 seconds. And that just makes me think of something a lot of us have been saying, which is like Robin Lopez should not be playing. I really like the guy. He's a great locker room presence. I like his hook shots. They're fun. But he can't keep up. He really can't keep up. Like, watching him play really makes me miss when we had Isaiah Hartenstein, who the Knicks have, JaVale McGee, any one of the big guys we had before him coming off the bench is honestly a significantly better option at this point. But moving on, Okoro was -10 in 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Mamadi Diakite was -10 in 11 minutes and 26 seconds. I honestly would have liked to see more of him. I felt like he was playing well. He had a block, and he was at times making it tough on Julius Randle. So I definitely would have liked to see more of him in last night's game, but whatever. I'm not JB. Moving on, LeVert was -13 in 16 minutes and 14 seconds. And last but not least, Darius Garland was -17 in 38 minutes and 54 seconds. And something that really bothers me about the way DG played is not that he threw up so many shots, because he is that guy. Like, keep shooting. Shooters shoot, right? But I think back to the game last year when we played Utah, when Donovan Mitchell was still there, and Darius Garland got a triple-double on a night where he wasn't shooting well because he didn't let it faze him that he wasn't shooting well. He still ran the offense. He still orchestrated the offense. And I don't know if Donovan Mitchell is a bad influence on him. I'm not trying to say he is, but it's definitely interesting that he's been more focused on his shot lately than dishing it, because that's what he's been best at so far his entire career. And yes, I think he can become one of the best scoring point guards in the league by the time he hits his prime. That doesn't change the fact that we need him to lead this offense. Like, 3 assists is not going to cut it. It's not. He's the guy who on nights where we had 12 assists was the one having 8, 9, 10 assists. Like, we need him to run the offense on a nightly basis. I don't need him to shoot it how many times? 19 times a game. He can shoot it 19 times a game. He is good enough to shoot it 19 times a game. But when he's moving the ball and when we're scoring and when it's in the flow of the game and he's not just forcing up shots. So if I was going to put this loss on any one player's shoulders, which is not fair because the whole team played terribly, but if I was going to blame one person, I'd blame DG, to be completely honest. I mean, we couldn't make any shots. Like, we were 34.9% from the field. We shot 29 for 83. We shot 22.9% from 3. We were 8 for 35. And even at the free throw line, where we've been consistently shooting over 80% lately, we shot 75% and we're 15 of 20 from the free throw line. So, bad shooting night all around. I think we did bring the effort defensively, but, I mean, the Knicks brought it too. And if anything, the Knicks brought it better. They really did. And JB was saying, oh, we just weren't hitting our shots, but that wasn't the end of it. Because, I mean, they made us look rattled. They made us look confused. They made us look like we didn't know what we were doing with the ball offensively. We were not playing Cleveland Cavaliers basketball. I can tell you that much. That much I can tell you for sure. And, I mean, Hopefully we'll get it cleaned up because we got LeBron and Anthony Davis, who have been on a tear lately, coming into the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse tomorrow. It's going to be on TNT, which is pretty cool because we don't get that many primetime games, national TV games. I think that's definitely a one the squad's going to get up for. And I think that whether we win or lose tomorrow, you're going to see how differently this team plays at home than they do on the road. I honestly expect us to win because of the differences we have playing at home versus playing on the road. Like, I definitely want to drop a nice Cavalanche on the Lakers. That's for sure. There was nothing I really loved from this game, but I guess I got to pick something. So something I love from this game, I guess Donovan Mitchell showing love to Francisco Lindor before we got our asses beat. I guess I'll go with that. And for now, that's it. So hopefully we beat the Lakers tomorrow. But until next time, keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs.